All
Okay,
right, there
here
we
we
go.
go.
Very
Okay,
good.
hi everybody. Welcome to Decoding Your Superpowers. We're running a little bit behind today.
Yeah,
Apologize for that. But I'm Teresa Lisum, and I'm here with my delightful superpower partner.
Linda Karchner.
And we're so glad you're here. We do this every Tuesday to really help you see the power behind understanding and knowing your superpower or your strengths.
Mhm.
Okay, I like to use the word superpowers, but they're really our strengths, those attributes, those characteristics, those innate organic ways that we show up in the world, the way we think, the way we start things. It's just so powerful to understand for ourselves and to understand others. So, this awareness we both feel is really, really important. And that's why we want to share it with everybody.
That's
So
right.
we're going to come back around to a strengths report we already looked at, and there's a reason for that, but we're gonna kind of dig into a little bit different aspect of it. But why don't we go ahead and do a quick rundown of the premise, the concept behind strengths. Linda, you're really good at that. If you'd like to take 1 or 2 minutes to do that.
Yeah. The word Clifton comes from Don Clifton, who was dubbed the father of positive psychology, because his viewpoint was, what if we focused on what is right about people
Mhm.
instead of what is wrong about them? And he had a very intellectual researcher's mind, and he developed an assessment that focused on the top 34 strengths that are cross-cultural, across demographics, that are basically universal strengths or talents that people have. And there are 34 of them through tons and tons of research. And they found that everybody has these, but everybody has them in their own unique order. So the statistics, the numbers of the possibility of you having the same exact report of your results in the same exact order as someone else is billions to one.
Mhm.
So, and I'm not a mathematician, so I'm not going to tell you how many, but
But I will reference people to a previous episode. That's what we talked about last week.
right.
The star concept and
Yes.
focusing on the points of the star.
Mhm.
So if I can figure out how to link it to this, I
Yes,
will.
right. And this is an online assessment. It really takes a computer to be able to process all the information and give you back, which it does immediately, a beautiful 25, 26 page report that really delves in depth into your top 5 strengths or talent themes. And it also touches on 6 through 10, and it will give you some information about all of the strengths in your particular order. So it's a really fantastic report that is so rich. Sometimes you need to have someone kind of help you digest it a little
Yes,
bit and
yes.
process it a little bit. And that's where Teresa and I can come in,
Mm-hmm.
like with Eddie Villa, and he has a very unique way of interpreting in his own perspective on the Clifton strengths, and it just has some really good insights
Yeah.
as application. So
Thank you. And we're both trained under him.
yeah,
So he is our mentor. We're constantly learning new things,
right.
new nuances, new depths of understanding and digging into these reports.
Mm,
So we're going to do a little bit of that depth work today that you're not going to get from any other strengths coach, I will
yes.
say. So this is what the report looks like. Thank you so much, Linda. You always do a beautiful job. Um, this we have seen this before, but we just want to review. We focus on the top 10. The top 10 are where we're most energized, most productive, most efficient, most creative, our most authentic selves, our best selves. And I like to call this our zone of genius. So our goal is to operate from these top 10 strengths as frequently as possible.
Absolutely.
And many of us go into several strengths beyond the 10, but for simplistic purposes and just to get right to the core, it's easiest just to focus on the top 10 and, bring those in and talk about those as you become more comfortable with those top 10. The bottom the bottom 5 are still strengths. They're just strengths that we don't really need. We don't need to use. They de energize us. They cause us to be inauthentic. They're just not useful for us.
Right.
So when we have somebody in front of us as a client, a coaching client, we talk about these and we just help them understand that they can let those go. They don't have to pay attention to them. They're not something that they have to try to do. Like
Yeah.
this person does not have to try to win everybody over with their number 32 woo strength. They don't have to be the life of the party. They don't have to go and try to, connect with all strangers in the room so that they all become friends by the time they leave. So
And
this
that's
person
probably a
is,
relief to this person when
yeah,
they
exactly. This person would probably be
oh,
like, oh,
you
thank
are.
goodness. Appreciate that. Because maybe at some point in the past, they were trying to fit into that role and it was just stressing them out.
Yeah.
And then when they left that particular event or that experience, they just felt drained and anxious and, all kinds of negative emotions. And that could be because they were forcing this particular strength to rise up and try to be useful for them because they thought that's how they were supposed to be. And so that's why we call these, again, they're not weaknesses, they're
Right.
just not useful strengths and they're draining for us.
Mhm.
Everything in between is neither here nor there, they're just neutral. We may bring in some of them as needed, but we can do all of these strengths can pretty much be covered through these top 10
Mhm.
in different combinations.
Right. Yeah.
And these strengths all work together. They all are woven together in a beautiful partnership. Some
Mhm.
of them we pull out more frequently than others. Some of them we need to learn to pull out more on a more regular basis. So we may talk about them not so much today, but as individual strengths, but they're all influenced by the other strengths around them.
Right. Oh,
So,
absolutely. Yeah.
yes, the responsibility at number 5 is going to be colored or influenced by the focus right above and the harmony right below. It's going to play differently for another person with responsibility at number 5 who has a different, set of strengths surrounding that responsibility strength.
Yeah.
So, and that's what makes every single person on this planet
Mhm.
infinitely unique. There is no other person like any of us on the planet because of the so many possible combinations of these strengths and how they play out for each of us. So, what we typically do right from the get go is we count up these strengths and put them in a category and these domains or these themes, which are sitting right here in the gray box. And they're just color coded. So we just add up the colors and put them with the correct theme. We call them domains.
Right.
And that's right. Just knowing their domains gives us a lot of information right off the bat.
Yeah.
Even if
Absolutely.
a person just knows their domain
Yeah.
or domains, then
Mhm.
that's going to really help them make some choices or follow a path or, whatever. So this person is a really dominant executor.
So
They have
5.
five
Yep.
executing strengths. And when a person has three or more of a particular set of strengths in a category, that category is really important to them or important. The more strengths they have in that category, of course, the more important that category becomes. So five is kind of a lot
Yeah. Yeah.
and in the executing domain. And then they have three in the strategic domain. So this person has a secondary domain
No, it's
because,
actually 3 in relationship building.
oh, did I say that wrong?
You said strategic thinking.
Oh, that's what I have down. Did I count that up wrong?
It's hard to see sometimes, but it's
Okay.
3 blue, which is relationship.
Okay, let me see. I totally got that wrong then. One, two, three. Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, man, I did mess that up. Okay, so this person, it's important for them to connect with the right people.
Yeah.
So we're going to use a statement, a broad, overreaching statement for this particular person that encompasses their domains. So this person loves to do everything in a way, and everything means any particular situation, any project, any goal they have in mind.
Relationships, whether it's, a spiritual relationship, a family relationship, even relationships, even
Right.
um, how they look for a job, how they perform in their job, everything. They they do
Everything. So we're using the word everything is a
meaning
placeholder, but it does mean everything.
yeah,
And that word can be replaced with whatever
yes.
your goal is for, any particular thing. So
Yeah.
this person loves to do everything in a way that honors his or her desire to do things the right way, get things done the right way, and connect with the right people.
Yes.
Okay, that's combining those two domains. So just knowing that about yourself can be really empowering.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I someday one of our friends from church is going to take this assessment, and we just know that she is super high in executing strengths. She's like the most disciplined, organized person, and it's just a powerful way to know who you are and
Mhm.
relate to people around you. Getting things done is a priority for her. And
Mhm.
she has a schedule. When it's time to spring clean, she takes a couple days off from work and she does it. I haven't spring
Wow.
ever.
Wow. Yeah, I don't really have that as a high domain for myself. So that's why I don't do that.
I guess that's why I don't either.
So this particular person is energized by seeing things done as your friend you were
Mhm.
just talking about. They
Yes.
love to finish things. They love
Yes.
to
Very much so.
measure maybe where they're at in that plan or in that process.
Mhm.
They want to check things off. Boom, boom, boom. This is done. This is done. This is done.
Yes.
So either they'll have a physical list or a mental list, and they know how they want to do it. So it's all about them, how they see it playing out the right way. So it's ever right for them, however they define that. So it's going to be different for every single person. Like Linda, your right way, if you were an executor, would be different from my right way,
Yeah.
approaching the exact same project or
Yeah.
situation.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. And I'm kind of opposite of this person. Like I have 2 executing strengths in top 10. So I have a ranger and responsibility. So for me, getting things done is getting things organized, but I don't always follow through on them, you know,
You get things done,
but I
even
get
not
things
as a
done.
high executor.
Yeah, I do get
So,
things done.
so
And even
even
if I have
though,
to stay up late to get them done.
right, in your own way,
Yes.
but a person with a high executing set of strengths, they usually have some kind of process or
Yes.
some way of doing things, some tool that they like to use.
Mhm.
So they're very concrete, get her done, very practical,
Mhm.
measurable, maybe again, things that they can do.
Mhm.
do. But with the secondary domain of a relationship building, this person wants to involve the right people, probably. It's
Mhm.
important that they have a connection as they're getting these projects done. And maybe as they're, playing out their list of their to do list, they probably would really be energized and enjoy the process more if other people were involved in
Right.
some form or fashion.
Mhm.
So if this person was doing getting ready to do a project and they were doing it in isolation, yes, they could plan it. They have their to-do list. They know how they want to get it done. But if they're doing it on their own, it may not be as fun or as energizing for them to do it alone.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, what I see, this person, they get a lot done by using their number 9 individualization, which is a relationship building strength. But individualization empowers someone to be able to see uh, who fits which responsibility, which job, which task, and to have sort of a gut instinct about, yeah, that person would do really well in this scenario, in this position, doing this task. And so that probably feeds into their executing of being able to make sure things are done in the right way by identifying who can help them
Mm,
get those things
yeah.
done.
I like that. And that empathy sitting right there.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
going to, that empathy and individualization together is really going to help them
mm,
choose the right person,
yeah,
I
and get a
think.
feel for how they feel
Yes,
about what
yes,
you're
yes.
asking them to do.
Yeah. So hopefully our viewers can kind of see how those two domains are going to want to work together to
Mhm.
get things done with
Right.
the right people involved.
Mhm.
Using their gut feeling, being able to pick and choose maybe people that they feel are going to be useful and important to that job, that project, whatever, that particular end result. And that's just looking at these in general. We haven't really picked too many individual strengths out. So we can tell a lot and share a lot about a person just from those overreaching domains
Mhm. Mhm.
without even getting into the strengths. Now,
Yeah.
another thing we can do with knowing these strengths and the categories we can group them into is we can help this person create some action steps
Mhm.
and help them mm, understand their starting point for whatever they're going to be doing. So, this particular person, it's going to be important to them that they start with things that they can control. So, things in their environment, things
Yeah.
that they can control. They can't control another person, but they can control their feelings, their emotions, how they show up, what they're going to do. Okay, so it's very important for this person to start everything with what they can control.
Uh-huh. Right.
Okay.
That really jives with how I would see it an executing person.
Mm-hmm.
The things that they can control.
But some people tend to veer off and
Yeah.
try to control everything around them,
Yeah.
especially with that high responsibility at number 5.
Mhm.
They might want to control uncontrollables, and that's
Yeah.
going to be frustrating to them, frustrating to the people involved that they want to bring
Right.
in to participate with them.
Mhm.
So, as an action step, this person we have a couple of action steps that this person would find helpful and useful. And help me out here if I get this wrong. This is, we're all learning this together, so we're really trying to be able to articulate this well. So this particular person, an action step they could do is start out a project, start out their morning, start a situation by writing down what they can control within themselves, their internal thoughts around the project, their internal feelings, their internal gut instinct, which you already mentioned,
Yeah.
tapping into that gut inner knowing.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if this person can start anything by just taking a few moments to write down a couple of things that they can draw from to get this plan done, to get this project done. Again, feelings, emotions, how their energy is around the project, their beliefs around the project.
Yeah.
If it's going to be a joyful project for them.
Yeah. And sometimes if it's not something that brings them joy, uh, then they maybe need to reconsider the way that they were going about it, or
Mm-hmm.
the goal that they have. If it's something that, and I'm not saying like, oh, we have to be happy all the time or life is,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if there's a deep seated resistance, it may be telling you something. Maybe
Yeah.
you're dipping down into those bottom strengths that we mentioned earlier and trying to do the thing in a way that doesn't fit with who you are and your superpowers.
Right. Or maybe you're butting into a belief
Mhm.
that is causing that negative emotion or that angst or whatever it is that
Yeah.
about what you're planning on doing or what you've been tasked to do. I'm
Hmm.
thinking in like a job setting,
Hmm.
so what's the belief? What's the trigger that's coming up for you?
Right.
Because let's just say that internal energy is important for you to
Absolutely.
be your best person, your best self.
Yeah. People who, just looking at this person's report, people who have a lot of executing strengths who are dominant in that area, if they think that their time is being wasted or it's being
Mhm.
unproductive,
Yeah.
that really chafes them.
Yeah. So I totally know somebody like that. Yes. If it's not worth their time, they don't want any part of it.
Yeah.
So,
And so, it may not be something that's bringing them joy, so they may need to tweak that a little bit. So,
mhm,
starting with how you're feeling about it, because this person, because of their kind of combination of strengths, they need to tap into what's going on between their ears and
mhm.
in their heart.
And this person, and this almost sounds contradictory now that I'm saying some of this stuff out loud. It almost sounds contradictory, but I want to jump into the fact that this person is going to come into situations, come into projects with a sense of discovery and curiosity, and will be able to figure things out as they go.
Hmm.
Okay, they're not coming in with a set of rules and
Right.
expectations. They're coming in open, ready to, check everything out and see what they can learn
Hmm.
to get this project going, to get these people implementing, to, get the plan, the project done in a way that's going to be pleasing to everybody. So this is all really stuff that can be very nuanced and it's
Right.
going to make a lot of sense to the person who this report belongs to.
Yes.
Some of us that don't have
Right.
these processes and these way of starting things, we're going to be like, oh yeah, no, that does not make sense at all to
Yeah.
us in the least. But typically, the person hearing the information who belongs to these strengths, who these superpowers are part of, they're going to get it.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
if you're getting some of this, then you must have some of these strengths or these domains. And if you're not, then it's not yours to get.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it.
Mhm.
Um, Anything else you want to say about this person based on those nuances that we're learning about,
Uh,
Linda?
just that I think what I learned for myself, and we've touched on this already, but I don't give myself enough credit for the value of my internal resources.
Mm-hmm.
My own personal journey has a lot of value, and I'm always looking for that external resource validation in order
Mm-hmm.
to create a new coaching program or something like that. So, and this applies to me. I'm high in those kinds of strengths as well. Not an executor, but a relationship builder and strategic thinker. So that kind of subcategory of needing to start with my own journey really applies to me as well.
Yeah, and I could say ditto to that. And just knowing that about ourselves can just give us a different perspective, a different, like I said earlier, a different path to follow, a
Right,
different way of, oh, maybe that's why that didn't work out that time. Or, oh, I made a decision there that might not have been the best one because I was disregarding my
right.
natural way of starting something. I
Hmm.
too have a lot of, I need to really learn to lean on my internal knowingness and intuition and my internal wisdom
Right.
that I've gleaned throughout my life instead of worrying about external influences. And
Hmm.
it's an awareness that, like you said, if we're not aware of it, it can cause us some stress
Yeah.
and anxiety that we don't even know where it's coming from
Hmm. Yeah, right.
because it's not aligned with us. It's not aligned with what,
Yeah.
how we're showing up in the world and how our strengths are aligned and wanting to play out. And we're like fighting against the stream.
And sometimes you kind of need someone else to hold up the mirror
Oh,
for
for sure.
you and to say, hey, are you frustrated with not getting things done? Specifically thinking of our person today. Maybe it's because you're trying to rely too much on these outside sources and
Hmm.
starting with yourself.
Yeah, and allowing those outside sources to influence
Mhm.
your choices and your decisions instead of trusting yourself to guide you.
Yeah.
And, I'm talking to this person who belongs to this
Thought of an
court.
analogy. I kind of was thinking about this earlier. Like, this person already has all the ingredients to make a cake. They have the flour and the sugar and the eggs and the butter. But if they think that they need to go out and go shopping to get, well, maybe it's not the right kind of flour,
Right.
you know? Maybe the sugar isn't fresh enough.
Hmm.
So they keep trying to go and get new things to make the cake, but we already have the what we need to make that cake.
Yeah, and trust that we have
Yeah.
those ingredients. I know that's something I struggle with even to this day, like trusting myself, allowing myself knowing that, yeah, oh, yeah, I got it. I mean, I have to tell myself that on a
Yeah.
regular basis. No, you
Right.
got this. You don't need any other
Right.
outside
Gotta
resources.
learn more and
Yeah.
you know,
So good stuff. Good
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you to everybody who followed this, even though
yeah,
we're a little bit late. Thank you to everybody who's watching the recording. And of course, if you want to explore your strengths, your superpowers, and see what they can do for you, how you can leverage them in your life, please get a hold of me, get a hold of Linda. We would love to be your mirror and help you really explore your own superpowers so you can take that next step. So you can, bring more joy into your life. So you can feel more energized and creative because you're operating from that zone of genius that we all have.
Right. We do all have our zone of genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so all of our information will be in the
Mhm.
description with this video. Feel free to reach out. If you have a report that you would like to have us look over and highlight it here, you certainly can get that over to us. We just need that front page. We don't need all the accompanying
Right.
information. We can glean a lot just from that list of 34. So if you can get that to us, we'd love to dig in and actually have you part of our episode here so you can
Yeah.
give us real-time feedback.
Yeah, that would be great.
We've had a few of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you so much, everybody who's been watching. And we love you. We love doing this. We can't wait to connect with you. We'll
Yep.
see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.